over their face.
A devoted listener.
I'm going to try on your back and your ear.
CommanderSmiths do. CommanderSmiths do.
Terrible.
CommanderSmiths do. CommanderSmiths.
This is a ripoff. You are such a cheater. I had to go this long ass song, and then you do CommanderSmiths do. Baby Shark. Did I get it?
Pink Fong, yeah.
Pink Fong?
That's who does it. Pink Fong.
Fong.
Yeah.
I keep saying that I'm gonna do something really dumb, and then I still do it.
You don't have the balls
elaborate.
to do something as dumb as me.
Oh, we are the CommanderSmiths. You like that right in the middle of
No, you fucked it up. Welcome to the CommanderSmiths.
Oh yeah, damn it! Welcome to CommanderSmiths.
We are the CommanderSmiths.
I've been drinking for a long time. No, I'm just kidding. It's Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowry Smith.
It's Adam Smith. Don't worry.
See how much I tossed him off? It was pretty fun. We're cousins.
Yeah, I guess. After that fucking song.
Everything. You were so bitter.
Yeah. I got to come up with something that's not even... There isn't even words in it. Well, you've already done that before.
Come up with something originally dumb.
Originally dumb.
Yeah.
Anyways, this is episode 59. We actually forgot to say episode 58. We realized when we were going through this one on our last episode.
This is pre-recorded right around the episode 58 time.
Yeah.
But it's still going to be just as good a week from now, which is now that you're listening to it. God, time travel's so tough. I would be awful.
You got to make sure you get the timelines right.
Yeah.
And is it about to be 2 o'clock in the morning?
It's going to be X-Men. This is X-Men. We're going to have multiple timelines going on.
All right, so we're finishing up our slaughter on sight cards.
With that term, yes, we will be done slaughtering cards after.
We will be adding some other things to this, but yeah, this is the
spin-offs.
Generals, as we're going to do this week.
Yeah, slaughter generals.
And then we are moving into what? Core cards for Commander?
Green and blue.
Woo!
Yeah, baby.
And then we finish off with Smith Specs of the week.
Yeah.
So maybe not as long as last week. Our last episode was really freaking long.
I think it was great. Just long enough.
How do you have this much energy?
They always compliment me on the length, all right?
Oh, yeah, right.
It doesn't matter how long it is.
In your dreams, Lowry. All right. You guys can follow us on Twitter. Oh, well, you don't have to do all that. That's at the end of the episode. But we are now, when this episode comes out, we're actually into April. So our new Proxies of the week will be coming out this month. Mm-hmm. So you guys can follow us on Twitter, see those. And then also you have what else on Twitter?
I put up trades whenever they kind of come in at the end of the week. I'm like, hey, I got a bunch of packages this week. Those are all trades. That's
most importantly, the not sharing with Adam beer.
Yeah, not sharing with Adam beer is always tasty. I definitely pick out like more expensive beer.
So can I like log on to Lowry Patreon account and get one of those beers maybe if I donate?
No. No, you cannot.
Can I go to the liquor store and buy those?
You might. I don't know. You'd have to look out. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to send. If somebody wants to send me money, I will send you a beer. But you basically, your name can't be Adam. That's the baseline of this because I can't share with you.
Speaking of Patreon, you guys can go to Patreon and donate. Like I said, you're gonna have that. This is the new month.
Yeah, new month of
April. So we'll still have the proxy. As of right now, we have the proxy thing going on. So $5 or more, you get 2 proxies. Anything higher, there's more. Whatever.
Yeah, there's tiers. Read them.
Yep. Go on there.
But any amount helps. There's even a tier for $1 and.
After 6 months, I think you get a proxy. Just because
it's been a while since I looked at that. Again, read it. And whatever you're comfortable with, if you so choose, we would greatly appreciate it. And we would thank you on the air.
Yeah.
Personally.
That's at least the dollar amount right there.
Yeah.
The free way to do it is go to YouTube and subscribe. We mentioned on the last podcast for April, we will be doing a drawing.
A drawing for a proxy. Whoever gets drawn will try and send you a proxy.
And if you aren't responding, then we will go to the next one and try on that person.
No, everybody
we'll try all over their face.
A devoted listener.
I'm going to try on your back and your ear.
Jesus. What are you doing?
I don't know what he's doing.
Trying. That's all we can do. So yeah, YouTube, Twitter. You can email us stuff, song ideas. I'm sure we already have like 4 backlogged.
We do have a list.
Yeah,
I got one from Jeremy last week, so nice. I have one that's in the back burner.
People like you more than me. That's fine.
Yeah, it's not going to be CommanderSmiths.
I enjoy that so much. You're so mad.
All right, so
very bitter.
We're done with all that stuff. Let's move into our episode. It might be a quicker episode. It's gonna be a lot of listing of cards because we're gonna list cards, and then we're gonna list more cards, and then we're gonna give you a list of cards that we really think you should go buy.
That probably aren't related with any of those other ones.
Yeah. So this is called the cards episode. We just.
Is that what we're doing?
List cards.
You're the namer of things.
You're the name genie.
Yeah. I get it.
All right.
Genie.
So let's move into our
slaughter on side.
Generals.
This is gonna be an interesting episode. All right, so
we're giggly now. All right,
let's start off with so as we discussed. Let's go back into this. So we picked legendary creatures. Last week, we had a list of legendary creatures. These are more of the ones that
are especially good as the commander.
As your general commander, not just your commander,
I would say
general
your
commander.
Specific commander, not general.
Your basic commander. God, this is going to be a hard episode.
It's going to be great.
But as your commander, these ones specifically, when they're in play, they need to die because... You need to slaughter on site because they are going to combo. The deck is built to make them go crazy.
Yep.
And so these are 15, right? Did we do 15? Yeah.
I believe we did 15.
We did 15 on this and 15 on core cards, too.
Yeah, we did. We did a good job.
30 cards plus our specs. It's 36. Woo! Plus we cheat.
That means something? Yeah,
we cheat because we add multiple cards on levels, whatever. All right, so let's start off with the first one. So Mazarek. Do we know the names? We're going off. We know their first name.
Meseric. Everybody knows Meseric. Come on. This is essentially a 5-mana green-black, or it's 3 colorless green-black.
Oh, we're gonna do all the casting costs.
The biggest thing is if it's in play and anything is sacrificed, all of that player's creatures get a 1/1 counter placed on them.
Well, rewind that. Not just that player, it's whoever. Yeah, Mazarek.
Yeah, whoever has Mazarek.
Not the player that sacrifices. Because
I guess
an opponent can do, a fetch land, and that counts as something sacrificing, giving you 1/1 counters. So it doesn't matter who's sacrificing. The player that has Mazarek,
or if somebody else has Teysa going and they sacrifice 3 black creatures to exile, they just sacrifice 3 things. All of your creatures get +3/+3 counters.
Yeah. So this card, and I have a Mazarek deck that when it gets into play, pretty much when I'm playing it, it's like, all right. Now my shit's happening.
Sacrifice Scion, sacrifice Eldrazi drone. You sacrifice
treasure
5
tokens.
It just gets way too crazy, and you should basically know if this card's coming down, you're already too late because they're able to sacrifice a bunch of stuff, but you got to slaughter that as fast as you can.
Because it could be complete game over for everybody. Yeah. Maybe it's 1 game over, but you need to kill it as soon as possible. Yeah. The next one is one of our old school commanders.
Yeah, Kalia the Vast is whenever it attacks, it's a 2/2 flying. It's in red, black, and white. Whenever it attacks, you can put an angel, a dragon, or a demon from your hand into play tapped on attacking.
That can be brutal.
And there are plenty of big suckers.
Yeah.
That
there's a reason why this gal is pretty damn expensive.
Yeah, and
it's an awesome card.
You're cheating on mana in colors that don't cheat mana very much.
Mm-hmm.
Debatable. Okay. But
did you just have an argument with yourself?
Yeah, in my head. But this card, like, if you take out Kalia in this, as if it's not a tribal deck where you're putting that style of cards that would help like a tribal deck for mana wise, but if this is the best dragons, demons, and angels that person has and they're tossing them in there, If you can take out Kalia, the deck is slowed down dramatically.
Yeah, Kalia is 4 mana to come out, and you can put some big freaking demons and angels and all that stuff in there, and just being able to attack and they're coming out instantly, it's insane. This every time we see this deck, it
should scare you.
Yeah,
it really should scare you, because even like if you have Lightning Greaves in play and then you equip it and attack the first time Kalia's out, you're so far ahead.
Yeah. I will say, though, it's an easier deck to build because it's just like, all right, I'm going to add protection spells or equipment to protect her, and then I'm just going to put a whole shit ton of angels and demons. You can theme it a little bit more. You can nuance
it a little bit. Like, you can go with attack triggers and attack a bunch of times in a turn.
You're all about that attacking a bunch of times in a turn.
Like that. I will admit, I do like that technique.
You're just like multiple attacks and then multiple attacks, and how about multiple turns?
But you could have like Warstorm Surge in play, and then when that big creature comes into play, you can deal damage to a creature or player. Like there's some little tweaks that you can go on in there.
Tweaks, but generally you're just
a lot of those things are flying,
big
so you
effers.
can have stuff that deals damage to ground creatures, and then you can get the angle in that way.
Should we do the anti side of it and be like, if you have Kalia, you need to protect her and put haste and all that fun? No, that's not this episode. It's Slaughter on Sight. Sorry.
Slaughter this card on sight. Basically, if you see it, get rid of it.
Another one as your general, which if you see this as a general, you almost want to kill this person.
Yeah,
this
Gisela
almost could
the Gold Knight, I believe his full name is.
Oh, actually, I was skipping ahead. I was almost going to
cheater. All right, Gisela.
Yeah.
Still something that's super scary. She's red-white, 5/5 for strike. When it's in play, it doubles the damage to your opponents and their creatures,
and it
halves it to your creatures and you.
The nice thing is you see this one coming because it's so much mana to come out. But when it's out, it's really hard to do anything.
Yeah. It's like, okay, so I need to deal 10 damage to a first striking creature.
Yeah.
How do I do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it has to be direct damage. So I just need straight removal. Hopefully, you're not protecting Gisela whatsoever.
Yeah, if you are, you're pretty screwed, because then everybody else is damaged. I mean, even other people attacking each other, it's just brutal when this card gets out.
If you're attacking the other person, like the only way this is where you keep it around is that third or fourth player has 100 life. And you're like, okay, we're working together to kill that guy.
And then,
but generally, when it comes down, you got to be like, okay, I'm not going to hit you. You're not going to hit me. We got to figure out how to kill that. Down. Yeah.
And then they goad all of you guys and
just kill. Yeah.
Then you kill each other. No, the next one I was looking at that one instead is Perforos. If you see this as the commander on the sideboard, you know that they're playing with a bunch of little 1/1 things that are coming into play, multiple things at once, so that they can kill you all at once. It's very
powerful. It's a really great utility one. So this can easily go in your 99 as well from last week. But this as a commander should scare you, and it's hard to. You need that exile effect, or like sacrifice an enchantment, or just steal it if it is a creature.
Steal it?
Yeah, but I mean, like, it has to be a creature at that point instead of an enchantment most of the time. Like, there's a lot of bonuses with this card.
There's a reason why it's so expensive, because it's an all-around really good card.
So, and then if you're doubling this up with like impact tremors and cards that also do very similar things can stack super quick, and so you need to really watch out for Perforos.
Because it's not just casting; it's when the creature comes into play. So tokens matter. Like it's silly. Slaughter him!
You're silly.
All right, next one on the list.
We're going to talk about Krenko, Mob Boss. I know this is probably one that I mention quite a bit, but it's a 4-mana goblin, and whenever you tap it, or you can tap it, to give yourself the amount of 1/1 goblins as you control goblins. So it basically doubles the amount of goblins that you have in play. And when I was talking about when I was doing that, like playing over Skype type thing a couple weeks ago, probably a month ago at this point, but I think we killed Krenko multiple times. Hey, it took like 12 mana to come out.
That's crazy.
and they still almost won because it's an army out of nowhere, and you're just like, holy crap, I cannot let this thing trigger. And at any point in time, you're able to kind of go off. So you either need to be controlling the amount of goblins that they have, hope that they don't have untap abilities like 1,000-Year Elixir or Mage Right Stone, or any type of haste effect. Like, there's so many things that go so well with Krenko that you just can't let that go off because it's so much of a powerful punch.
Punch to the gut.
Yeah.
Next one is Narset. What is Narset's?
Enlightened Mentor, I believe it is.
So we just wrote down their first names, and then we're like, oh crap, we need their actual full names.
We're on first name basis with most of these legends.
So Narset you use more than I have.
Yeah. So it's a 3/2 first strike hexproof for 6 in red, white, and blue. And whenever it attacks, you reveal the top 4 cards, and you can play any non-creature spell. And so this is pretty combo-y. We're trying to stay away from the combos on here, but a lot of time, like, you can be equipment heavy, you can be planeswalker heavy, you can be extra turns or extra attack step, like triggers. There's a lot of different ways you can kind of build with this.
A lot of ways to be douchey.
But yeah, like the extra turns ones just gets people to be like, well, so you got 4 extra turns? All right.
I quit.
Nah, well, you just make me play Goldfish on my own.
Yeah.
We're going to talk. But I think you're cheating on a lot of mana at that point.
Yeah.
And
the
it's
problem
super
is
powerful.
It has hexproof, so it's pretty hard to get rid of. You have to kind of board sweep this one to get rid of this bad boy.
Yeah.
So even when it's on the board, it's kind of too late unless you board wipe that. But
and how I normally play it when I had it was, you have a bunch of removal in your deck as well because you get to basically play it for free. But you also have mana open, so you wait until you attack. If somebody blocks to kill it, you have something to remove it with. And so the damage is never dealt. It still has the attack trigger. Maybe you don't deal a damage with it, but that's not really what you're going for.
Yeah.
And so you're trying to keep it alive longer because of the hexproof is so helpful.
Next on the list is Atraxa, which we just kind of put this on the list.
It's just so powerful.
Yeah. I mean, it still takes a little bit for it to really get going, but if you have enough things out, man, she's 4/4 vigilance, flying, lifelink, like
Death Touch.
Forgot
one.
There's more to her, and then giving the proliferate, adding all the counters to your planeswalkers, to your 1/1 counters, whatever you want to add counters to. It's just, if you can put a counter on her, then she continues to get bigger, and you're gaining life. Like, it's just,
you can attack, gain the life. If they don't kill it, you basically got to throw everything you can to try and kill it.
Yeah,
else that's just going to sit back and it's going to be a wall that you can't get through, and they're just going to continue to gain life. Like, they're just going to gain so much of an advantage that you're just going to fall behind.
There's a reason why it's one of the most popular commanders.
Yeah, absolutely, because it doesn't play red. So
yeah, no, it'd be the most popular if it didn't play white.
Red's only good on its own. It sucks. No, red is not a very good planeswalker color in my opinion either. So, I could be wrong. You could be yelling at the screen right now.
Well, it works well with Daretti has some pretty interesting uses to him. Saheeli, but you have to use red and blue. So red has to be with somebody. Match made in heaven.
So, fine. There's a couple okay red planeswalkers.
Isn't Nicol Bolas one?
Atrax is just so powerful that you got to get that off the board. And it's cheap, too, for 4 mana. If they're able to cast that on turn 4 or any time during the game, it's just like, you got to make them do it as many times as possible.
Yeah. I'll do the next one because then you can do that guy right there.
Sure.
So Captain Sasea it's a legendary creature that you can tap to go find any legendary permanent. Isn't it permanent? So you can get your planeswalkers, you can get your land, you can get your enchantments, you can get...
I'm surprised you missed this. It's a green-white legend. You can go and get your Gaia's Cradle.
I was getting to that.
Oh, were you? You said land and skipped over it.
So?
Yeah. Get your Mox Opals and your Planeswalkers. Yeah, this card can be
there's a lot you can
powerful.
go get with them.
Now, this card can definitely go like combo-y if you have Paradox Engine or whatever.
And so that's kind of the thing is, we try to stay away from the combo stuff, but not everybody you play is going to do that necessarily. So when you see this on the board, so kill it as soon as you can if it comes on the board, because they're going to be able to tap it the next turn and get whatever they want. And is it directly into play?
No. It
goes into their hand. So it's at least that. So you have a little delay on it, but it doesn't cost any mana for them to tap it.
No. And the other thing is, like, even if they're not playing combo, if they're playing toolbox, they're able to go and get whatever is best in their deck for whatever situation they're in.
Yeah.
And you don't want your opponents to be able to do that and just be like, oh, you're an enchantment deck? I'm going to go and get something that's going to really affect you.
Yeah. I'll go find this planeswalker that'll really affect everything.
Yeah.
All right. Next one.
You got to slaughter Giselle Goldmane. We both have stories on this one. So this is it's a white legend.
Oh yeah. Okay. God,
for as many
the name, because I can't remember it when I'm looking at just the name, and then once the Goldmane comes.
So
in.
this is Ajani's brother. I don't know if you knew that either.
I didn't.
Yeah. So Goldmane.
Nah, I gotcha.
So, they are brothers, and so he.
I thought Johnny was a girl. I'm just kidding.
Maybe they're cousins. I don't know. I'll be Ajani.
CommanderSmiths?
Yeah. That'd be an awful name for a podcast.
Commander Ajani's.
You're trying real hard here. And so what?
I'm just going to take a drink of my water.
What Giselle does is, if there is 5 mana open and they attack, like essentially there's going to be a token deck. And let's say they have 4 or 5 tokens in play. 1/1s, little piddly shits. Nobody cares about them. But Giselle's in play. They attack with 5 creatures. You pay 5 mana, and all of those creatures get +5/+5, I believe. It might be +4/+4, but I'm pretty sure it's +5/+5.
Should I look it up while you're
No,
talking?
it doesn't matter. And what they just did was attack for 25 points of power. And if they have 10 mana open, they can double that, go 5 and 5. So give everything +10/+10. So it depends on how much mana you have, and it gets stupid. I've died turn 5 because of this. Turn 5 or 6, you stumble a little bit, that Giselle player just targets you, and you're like, you're gone.
X is the number of attacking creatures.
So the amount of attacking creatures, not other attacking creatures.
Yeah.
So, but the card is quite good.
Yeah, so Jeremy actually used this on me in one of the games when we were playing. I was like, I had control, and I had a plan of how I was going to kill everybody. And I was like, well, Jeremy can't kill me. He has like 6 guys out or whatever. And he actually didn't have a ton out. But by the time it came around to his turn, somehow he cast a bunch more, and they had haste. And then he was running through me with like 10/10s, just fucking wiped me out. And I was just like, it wasn't even on my radar because he didn't have that much out. Somehow they did have, I don't remember how he made him have haste though.
Sounds like a really good game.
Shut up, Lowry.
I don't.
But no, I think I had the win with Infect of killing people. And
I'm glad you died.
Yeah, I know you'd be happy with that. And somehow Jeremy, he wasn't ever even attacking me. He just decided that turn. He was like, I'm going to attack you and kill you. I'm like, what? Like, why are you killing me? But good story. I'll tell it again sometime.
No, and I've had Tyson rowing me over with this one too. So it just.
What deck was he playing with this?
I think that it was his commander.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Jeremy's commander too. Yeah. I don't think he plays with this one.
I don't think Tyson does either. This was a couple years ago, like 3 years.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. So you need to kill it on site.
Slaughter
on site. All right. Next one, I guess, is me. Yeah, it's one of my decks. So Brutaclad. Brutaclad's kind of brutal.
Core processor.
Brutaclad's brutal Clad. Get it?
Yeah, still trying pretty hard.
Brutal Clad.
No, I get it. We all get it, Adam.
So the interesting thing with Brutaclad is you can be, when I play with this deck too, is you set up, like it's making tokens left and right. You're making treasure tokens. You're making whatever. Like, they don't have to be the same tokens. Once Brutaclad comes out, that first turn, it makes a 2/1, and then you can change all your tokens into whatever token you want. You choose one, and all of them can change into it. And if you're able to make a creature that you have into a token, it can end the game immediately that turn. And so that's why
anything with any solid power toughness.
Right. The problem is this almost could be on the already too late because you
still have to attack with it.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, not with Brutaclad. With that
already
creature.
too late. That list is going to be. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
There is still
there's a sliver where you're like,
yeah.
All right, I don't know.
There's still a sliver of time to whereas that list there's no time.
Yeah, you're game over. So yeah, Brutaclad, typically when I get it out, I wait until I have what I'm going to do to win or kill one person or two people. And it's a brutal card.
You need to make sure that trigger doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So I very much agree that it's a very good general.
The next one is
Muldrotha, the Gravetide.
Your baby.
Gravetide. Yeah, no, this one's a solid one. It's green, blue, black, 3 colorless, 6/6, and you can play cards from your graveyard. It's super awesome.
Yeah, if you let them get around on their next turn, you're playing stupid stuff. It's every type, right? So
you get to play one spell from your graveyard of each permanent type.
So you can do another land, you can do an enchantment, it's
artifact, creature, planeswalker, and you can generally, if you build your deck around that, you're just able to go, I'm going to play 5-6 spells this turn.
Yeah.
And you could still use your hand. The card is just crazy. You just don't want it to get. It's basically like drawing cards and playing them at the same time, and you get to make the best decisions as you're going along that you can possible. It just buries people, and it can be a very controlling deck. It could be a really aggressive deck. If you know the deck, you know that you need to get rid of Muldrotha. Thank God it's 6 mana.
Yeah, it at least takes a little bit.
Yeah,
but
even though that's to its benefit because that allows you to fill
your graveyard, cast stuff. Yeah, do all that. Get your stuff set up. Next one is our cheating part. We are doing
3
Sliver. We have Sliver Legion, Overlord, and what's our other one?
Hive
Lord. So one does, you can tap 3 to go search for any sliver and put it into your hand. You can also tap 3 to steal a sliver. What's the other one?
Sliver Legion gives all of your slivers, that player's slivers, +1/+1 for each other sliver.
And then the other sliver is the indestructible one?
Yeah, it gives all slivers indestructible. And these cards are super powerful, especially, obviously, you're putting it in a sliver decks. And you can helm slivers. Them all. We did not do Sliver Queen because that's just so combo heavy. Yeah, but that's also a really good card.
I know it is, but I like these 3 better for some reason. Just because that one's making more slivers.
These ones are super powerful, and you want to get rid of them before like Hive Lord. It's almost too, like, if that's the commander,
because it's indestructible,
you're holding up something that can get rid of it.
Yeah.
So
you see it coming, so at least keep something to exile or
absolutely.
All right, and you want to move into the next one?
Sure.
Go ahead.
The next one's going to be Niv Mizzet Perun. This one might not win you the game right off the bat, but no matter what, if somebody's removing it, you're drawing a card, dealing with damage. And this card just gets crazy when it goes to that person's turn again. And so you might be like, I don't want them to deal that damage and draw that extra card, but it's well worth it to get rid of Niv Mizzet Perun.
Yeah, because once you let them get to their turn and they start casting instants and sorceries, they're just
4 or
drawing.
5 of those that draw them cards, but it's drawing those cards already, they're able to deal 8 to 10 damage, control the board completely,
just
and they're going to
wipe the board. Yeah,
if they have any sort of wheel, it's basically over.
Yeah, Niv is pretty ridiculous when it comes out. The next one is Animar. What is Animar?
Soul of Elements.
There we go. Yeah. So this was my pride and joy for the longest time, but I have recently killed this deck. But the thing about this one is it's a slow burn, kind of, because it's 3 to come out. So this comes out early, especially as your commander. You have an issue with killing it because it's anti-white and black, which is your main 2 kill spells. And then every time, like, maybe after turn 2, the next turn it's not so bad, or the next turn, but if they build it right, after 3 turns of this being out and you're playing creatures, they're starting to play stuff and draw creatures for free. Like, it just starts to ramp and out of control.
Like Craterhoof Behemoth for 3 is stupid.
Yeah, it just gets insane. So this, if you have a way, if you know that's the commander, you save something so you can, if it's not white or black, you save something so you can kill it immediately.
I'll admit that I'm probably more scared of Animar, and we were talking about this before, but I always seem to be running at least white or black in whatever deck I'm facing Animar against. It doesn't even matter if it's you. I just randomly I want to play Breya, and it's like, I'm going to play Animar. It's like, fuck! Breya can't target it. A ton of your good, because you're going to lean towards that good removal, like Swords of Plowshare or Path can't affect it. And so you basically got to hope that somebody's running a red mass removal, Blasphemous Act, Earthquake, something, and hope that they have it big enough before Animar gets too big.
Yeah, because it can. And if you play it right, if you're an Animar player, you're putting artifact creatures in there so that they're coming in for free, and then the counters are going up, and then it's making, like he said, the Craterhoof Behemoth come out almost for free. It can
get silly.
And then the last one is
Breya, Ethereum
one of
Sculptor.
your favorite decks.
Yeah, and this one is just super utility, and you're able to do tricks people just aren't going to think of because there's so many different options. And what that is you can pay 2 mana, sacrifice 2 artifacts, and then you get to deal 3 damage to a player, give a creature -4/-4, or gain 5 life. That player does. And when it comes into play, it puts 2 1/1 flying Thopters into play. So it comes with the sack outlets no matter what.
Yeah. But you typically abuse it by being able to flash her out, or not flash.
Double
I was doing the flashing,
or bring it, or
she's just
reanimate it, or like Lifeline. We've talked about a bunch of times.
I've seen you do that before.
The card can be very much abused, and even if you're not abusing it, it's a card that just has so much value and versatility in it that it allows you to get away with it. You can have if there's enough artifacts in play where you get a benefit off of sacrificing them, it's already burying people in certain advantages.
Breya is one of the top commanders when I see it come into play. I want to try to get everybody to kill it as soon as possible,
because it is so versatile. It's like, well, I only have to sacrifice 2 artifacts in an artifact deck, and I'm going to gain 5 life. Oh, you didn't kill me? I'm going to kill you this next turn, though, by the way. BT dubs.
BT dubs. BT dubs.
MBP.
MBD.
MBD. All right.
No big deal. I don't know. I'm saying it in their voice.
Because it's cool. That's
the way to do it.
What it is.
All right. So moving
slaughter
on.
all of those.
Slaughter. So that's the end of our slaughter on site.
Mary and I went skiing. We made a snowman. She touched my leg.
Okay, kill him.
For now.
Well,
the thing is, I'd like to hear some suggestions. That we haven't heard anybody else add some stuff to the list. We had some predictions where we had one of our listeners be like, "Oh, this is, it's on there. Skull Clamp."
Oh, we added that last second. But
number 16. So now we move into our core cards for Commander Green and Blue.
Core cards for Commander.
Yeah, and this was a much stronger pairing, in my opinion,
than the other two.
Or more interesting than black and white and green and red at this point.
Well, out of the colors, these are the 2 I play the most, green and blue. And I kind of figured that out when I was going through the decks that I've made in the last year. Blue is the one by far I made the most, not with counterspells. Fuckers. Except for Niv Mizzet, I did have
type. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, you can play with blue and not play with counterspells like I do. It's amazing.
Not everybody can do it. Some people want to be jerks.
Yeah, I know.
That's all right.
All right, so starting off this list, this is another 15 list. So like we said before, the other one was 15. This is 15, and then we have our Smith specs. So tons of cards.
It's definitely how math works.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
So start off with biomass mutation. What this is, I need to use this a lot more than I do.
I when you had that on the list, I definitely thought of it as well.
But it's Simic, and X. It's an instant and makes all your creatures XXs. So you can just be like, all right, hey, I'm just going to attack you with these 3 1/1s, and Lowry, I'm going to attack you with 4/11s, and Tyson, I'm going to hit you with 2/11s. All right, we're not blocking. Oh, sorry, they are 10/10s each.
10/10s.
You guys are all dead.
You're dead.
Like it's pretty ridiculous. Like I'm surprised we haven't used this card more.
I think, I do want to play with it more, and I think this is very much good enough to be on a core card for Commander.
Good ad.
That's how this works.
Good ad. Do you want to move on to your next card?
Core card. Core card
for Commander.
Hello.
Hello.
Mercfiend Liege is the card that you should be playing with in green-blue. So it's a card that gives green creatures you control +1/+1 and blue creatures you control +1/+1. And you get to untap all of your green-blue creatures at the end of your turn. And so this card can get you insane amounts of value, pumps your team. And if it's a green and blue creature, it gets the double pump as well.
Double pump. There you go. Double pump
I get references. So, but yeah, this card is a great card to have, and I've played it in Cumena, and I think it should go in a ton of decks, especially in green and blue, because tapping creatures for mana, tapping creatures all over the place, and this just allows you to do it more.
Taparoo, and then you tap them at the end of your turn. End of your turn or each turn?
I believe it's the end of your turn.
Okay, we could look it up, but
it's not quite Seedborn Muse level, but the pump is pretty nice.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. All right, the next one on the list is Mormir Vig, Simic Visionary, and this is basically what it is when you cast a green creature spell, green creature spell, you can go search for a creature card in your deck and put it on top of your library. If you cast a blue creature spell, then you may reveal the top card. If it's a blue, or if it's a creature, you can put it into your hand. So if you cast something that's green and blue, you
basically get to put a creature from your library into your hand.
And what we talked about before the podcast is I use this in Animar, where I'd go search for a creature and put it directly into play, because it was
gross.
It was a pretty ridiculous
But again,
card.
this allows you that toolbox ability and being able to search for anything for that specific situation, especially, if you're not comboing or just having a hate card. Like this card is really quite nice.
This card is really quite nice.
It sent me a Christmas card, and I really appreciate it. I felt bad because I didn't send.
You didn't reciprocate?
One. Well, no. I mean, his address is all fucking wonky, so I just
it's in Mormir. I don't know.
It's Simic Lane, jackass.
Okay,
I know that much.
This podcast is stupid. All right, your next one.
This one's probably more of a pet card of mine. We needed to get to 15. The
truth is out. We cut it and then we brought it back. We're like, get out of here, bitch. Nope. Come on back. We need 15.
We need you.
We had 14.
We love you. Come back. Kiora's Follower, green blue 2/2.
Is this the same Kiora as the little blob thing? Is that a Kiora? The one that gives you...
What? No, Kiora is a planeswalker.
The planeswalker, but what is that? Isn't there a Kiora,
like
the blob thing?
Moonfolk.
You know what I'm talking about? Where
no idea.
The first spell is countered if anybody targets
That's Kira.
Oh, that starts with a K.
Every kiss begins with K. So Kiora's Follower. I'm going to turn one of those into the beginning song.
Yeah. Every kiss begins with CommanderSmiths. And that's it. That's the end of my song. So, you would.
I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm going to try to do it next week so you don't even have it.
You can't do that. Kiora's Follower. Basically, it taps and you can untap any permanent you control. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. If it's untapping your biggest creature, it'll allow you a block. It untaps land, so it can be a mana ramp, or untapping a Soul Ring, or anything that gives you multiple land that gives you that extra bonus.
Sounds fun.
It's versatile, and I really like the card.
Welcome back, number 15.
You are always with us. You're always in my heart. I just had to convince Adam.
You were the one that just cut it right off the bat. You're like, I just love this one.
You're not supposed to tell it that. Got to be supportive.
We had a list of 19, and then we cut down to 14 accidentally, then went back up to 15. And
they don't
now
need
I'm going
to know
to the next card.
the process of our genius.
All right, next card is one of our new cards. It's been on multiple lists. Hydroid Crossus, which is an awesome card because...
I would have cut this one too.
Yeah, you were on the border. But the thing is you're making a big effort, and you're drawing cards. The life is whatever, but you get to draw cards with it.
Sure.
Late game, pretty damn good.
Yeah, late game, I think this is really quite good. And
filling your hand right back up again. It's a good
even
card
as
to have. Mid game is pretty good, I think, too. I mean, if you're at a 6 mana, you're drawing 3 cards. Not 6 mana, I guess 8. But making it a 6/6, you know, you're drawing 3 cards off of that. You're getting a 6/6 flying trample. That's.
So I think, I mean, the biggest barrier currently is that it's in standard and it's huge.
Yeah,
it's a $30
expensive.
card. Like, I think you definitely wait. It's not something you run out
No,
and
and that's not the point of this.
kind of.
No, not to go buy it. I mean, it's good to have in your collection at some point here.
I do think
right now
at
it's very high if you didn't get it in your pack like I did.
Tough guy sniff.
Flat tire.
Oh, that one. That's dangerous. It's really late. Do you have like AAA?
I'm here.
Flat tire.
But yeah, so good card mid game, late game, not early game.
Yeah, you want to hold on to it a little bit longer. But I think
Tap 2 for 0.
I think it can be a really good card. And so that late game I think is the impressive part. Like just think if you put this in Animar.
Oh.
Think of that.
Damn, I killed that deck.
Think of that.
Might have to make it again just for this card.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Yeah. All right, next card.
I guess I got to look at my list here.
No, it's right here.
I can't see that far.
What the
I'm
hell?
blind. Master Biomancer. So it's green, blue, 2 colorless. And whenever you have a creature come into play, it gets +1/+1 counters for the amount of power that Master Biomancer is. So it comes out as like a 2/4, I believe. And so whenever you have a creature come into play after that's in play, they all get +2/+2 no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're doing something cool with Biomancer, your creatures come in bigger. Like a random Rancor. Nobody plays that except for me. But, turning it into a 4/4 and then your 1/1s turn into 5/5s.
Yeah.
That can be quite powerful. But even, I'm going to use Wood Elf again, but...
You like using the Wood Elf.
I know.
Got to use it somewhere.
But having that come in as a 3/3 for 3 mana that gets you a land into play is pretty powerful.
People don't know this. This was from... Or was Elish Norn on this one? No, Elish Norn was 2 episodes ago.
That's
or an
all right.
episode ago. So
That's all right.
I don't know that you were talking about that.
I'm just going to keep on keeping on.
Good one.
That's a saying.
All right. Next one is Thrasios, which is an expensive card because it's a good card. That's the scrying one. It's 2-drop to get into play. Tap 4, scry 1, reveal the top card of its land card. Goes into play.
Land comes into play.
Card comes into your hand. Nope. Yep.
Non-land goes into your hand.
Yeah. So you're scrying, being able to set your top, and then also drawing the card off of it.
This is definitely like a top tier commander card.
Yeah.
A lot of people play this. And
I'd say if we were to reorganize this as a top 10 or top 15, this would probably be 1 or 2 for what you need to have. Like, it fits in any deck.
It's not better than Hydroid Crassus.
Yeah, it is.
It is, definitely.
It's a ton better.
Yeah, this card is crazy.
Yeah.
And it goes really well with like Biomancer's Familiar and Training Grounds and Hearthstone. Like this card and just ramp is going to happen in green blue. This goes right along with whatever you're doing.
When cards are good early, late, or early, mid, and late game and can go in any deck, that's when you know it's a freaking ridiculous. This card goes in any deck. Like there's no reason. If you're playing blue and green, this should be in there like 99.9% of the time. I don't know when you wouldn't put it in there. When you aren't playing creatures.
When you don't want to play with it. That's clear. That's a clear.
I don't want to play with you. Yeah. So I'm going to put you in the deck.
And then when I draw it, you don't play it. Dead card.
Next card.
My next one is Coiling Oracle, which is basically what Thrasios' ability is constantly. So it's a 1/1 for a green and a blue. When it comes into play, reveal the top card. If it's a land, put it into play. If it's not, put it into your hand.
So after that, it's done. But it's a nice chump blocker, you know.
It's,
so
yeah,
and you draw right off of it.
Early game, you know, again, blinkable, doubling-able. Like this goes really well with like Deadeye Navigator or in a Riku of 2 Reflections deck. Like this card's very versatile and it's a nice early game card. Mm-hmm. It's no Wood Elves, but
we need blue green. We can't the Wood
yeah,
Elves
this has to
work.
be blue green.
All right, next is Krufix, God of the Horizons, and what this is at the end of your turn or at the end of your mana does empty, it just turns colorless. So you can just tap out and your mana just sits there, and it, unless this gets killed, you have an endless amount of mana that you can use for other turns.
But you know, this wasn't a slaughter on sight card, so I don't know why anybody would try and kill it. That'd be silly.
You just leave it on the battlefield.
Yeah, nobody will do anything to you.
But if you don't have this in your collection, you should get it because it's definitely a good card, especially with blue green, where there's a lot of tapping with creature abilities, adding counters, whatever. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this.
Being able to do tricksy stuff, yeah. It's a nice mana storage. My turn.
Next card, Larry. I said it with a spit in my mouth. I was like, next card, Larry.
Okay, Sylvester. So this next one is going to be Prime Speaker Zagana. This is a lot. It's a legend. It's 2 blue, 2 green, 2 colorless. It's a 1/1 when it comes into play, but it gets 1/1 counters for the highest power of creature that you have in play. And then you get to draw that many cards as Zagana's power would be. And this card can draw you a lot of cards late game. I think this is a great commander if you want to be doing that kind of thing. But also it can be very well worth it. So you definitely want something like this in your collection.
The next card is our only Planeswalker, our blue-green Planeswalker.
True.
It is Nissa, Steward of Elements, and this is blue, green, and X, and then it's plus, so it gets X counters, whatever you tap for X, but its +2 ability is Scrying Tooth. That in itself is
pretty solid.
And I don't think, did we have this as our top setters?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, I was going to say, because she definitely needs to be there if we didn't have it. And then it's minus...
I'm going to say we did.
Or it's -0 ability is you look at the top 2 cards?
Top card.
Top card, and if it's a creature card, or if it's a land.
Hand. It's a Coiling Oracle again.
Yeah,
it's a really good effect.
And then it's -6 is you get to turn 2 lands into 5/5 flying land elementals until end of turn.
Yeah.
So its ultimate isn't that great, but its first 2 are pretty damn good.
And you can kind of do it whenever, like if it's late game, you can just drop it for 8, kill it, and attack with 2 5/5 flying lands.
Yeah, that's a good point. The
So,
ultimate without needing a doubling season off of one drop.
You just kind of do it if you so wish. So it's a good card. It can set you up. Like again, early game, you can drop this for 3 mana +2 it and put it at 3 loyalty right away. And it can be early. It's scrying you. You know, the 0 ability, if you haven't scryed already, is a little random. But it can be quite good. I think it's a really solid card.
Your not is it your last one? No,
this is my last one.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. No, it is
no,
my
it isn't
second
your second last one.
But Progenitor Mimic. So this is a pretty awesome clone. It's 4 mana, green and a blue. When it comes into play, have it be any creature in play, and then each one of your upkeeps, you create a token of whatever you copied. And
typically when I get this out, it gets killed.
Sure, yeah, because it's quite good, especially because it's 6 mana, so it's kind of forcing you to be a little bit more late game, and so you have more of an ability to see what it is. Yeah. Now it's not super good
because if you can't do legendary stuff.
Well, you can,
but it just dies.
Sure,
but
like if somebody has like
a
Avacyn in play, I'm going to make my...
Yeah.
I'm going to pay 6 mana to get an 8/8 Flying Vigilance, make everything I have indestructible. I don't care if that dies.
The next one dies, yeah.
Yeah, so sometimes it doesn't really matter. You just want to clone it with whatever clone you have. But if you get like a high value clone creature, like that can be really good too. Like a Thrag Tusk, if you hit that, you getting that every turn.
Mm-hmm.
That can be crazy value.
Crazy.
Just crazy. Or Worm Coil Engine, that'd be a great one. Or
crazy.
any of the Titans. Keep saying crazy.
You remember the Titans?
Any of the Titans.
But do you remember the Titans?
Like Primeval Titan is banned.
No,
Inferno
it's doing
Titan.
the movie.
You have there's a movie about him?
Remember the Titans. That's
Magic
what it's
the
called.
Gathering doesn't really have any movies. They have some bad video games at this
God.
point.
I hate you, Larry. I wish we had beer to drink. All right, the next one on my list, on our list, I should say. It's not my list.
No,
it's
yeah,
our list.
no, you're very possessive.
It's Rashmi. I talked about Rashmi last week. So that's the whenever you play your first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it mana cost equal to or less than that, you can cast it without paying its mana cost, or it goes into your hand.
Yeah.
So
almost a similar like Coiling Oracle effect again.
what?
Yeah, not quite land going into play, but casting the spells for free
Yeah.
are just pretty solid.
Yeah, it's a pretty sick card, and I kind of raved about it last week, but it's definitely a card you need to have if you're playing blue-green for your collection. Your last one, now you're officially your last one.
Edric, Spymaster of Trest. This is a little 3-mana legend, 2/2, and whenever an opponent, one of your opponents is dealt damage, that player that dealt them damage gets to draw cards.
So this triggers people to not really attack you and attack other people.
Yeah.
Plus, you get the benefit because everybody you're attacking is not you, so you get to draw a card.
Yeah, and so drawing cards is good from what I hear, and it triggers on multiple creatures dealing damage. So if you have a bunch of, if you have 5 creatures that deal damage to your opponents, you're drawing 5 cards, which is super powerful. Now this card could bury you.
Yeah, because you're having
If somebody
everybody else is drawing a lot of cards off of it.
Yeah, but again, it's generally going to save you if you're not playing with a bunch of people that hate you.
So
they're
Lowry
like, I want to
can't-
draw cards. I'm going to go, oh.
Lowry can't play with this card.
Yeah, they see it. They're like, oh, you want us to draw cards?
I
I'm going
kill
to
you.
you. Son of- what? That doesn't make any sense. So this card can really be swingy. And generally, you're going to build it in a way that you're going to be able to take advantage of it best.
This was one of my earlier commander generals that I made, and that is the reaction that happened is I would play it and people would be like, oh, cool, I'm still killing you.
Yeah.
It's like, what the fuck? You want to draw cards? Attack
That's not
everybody
true.
else.
I definitely always attacked other people, and I just tried to keep your creatures in check so that you weren't drawing more than me. That was generally my
Your plan.
way of going about it.
Yeah. And then the last one on the list is a newer-ish card from Dominaria. It's Tatiova.
Diova.
Oh, you scared me. I thought you were yelling at me.
You want me to?
Whenever you
Yell at you
play
in
a
Russian?
land or whenever a land comes into play.
Whenever a land comes into play.
Under your control, you draw a card and gain a life off of it.
Mm-hmm. That's
This
great
is
value.
Crazy as being an uncommon card. You can get the uncommon cards for super cheap. The non-foils, I should say, for super cheap. You can get the uncommons of these for super cheap, and then the rares are a little bit more expensive.
Because we were talking about this. It's like, is this good enough to be rare already?
I think it should be. But
I think if it was 1 more mana less, like if it was at 4 mana range to come out, it
Yeah.
definitely would be rare.
yeah,
But
because it's 5.
like, what puts it at mythic? Like 3?
3? And maybe,
Green, blue, colorless for like a 1/1, and that draws you a card and gains you a life every turn.
but maybe some other ability to it as well to make it mythic. You keep it at 4, but then you add like
Maybe return a land to your hand, or you can
something
play
like that.
multiple lands in a turn. That could be really cool.
or
We just
when
made
it,
a card. Look at us.
or when it comes into play, you get to go search, reveal the top card.
Coiling Oracle.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's just make good cards better.
That's what we should do for an episode. My voice got really high. I was like, that's what we should do for an episode.
That's how Adam thinks.
We should.
It's a higher voice.
I should. Well, yeah, and I just lost my train of thought. No, we should make up cards for an episode of. No, it doesn't sound
We
fun.
kind of already are.
Yeah,
We don't want to spoil
We'll just do it.
There's definitely A week or two away.
All right, so that does it for our core cards for Commander Blue-Green.
Green-blue.
Blue-green. Yeah, green's more important. I agree. Green-blue. Now we move into Smith Specs of the Week, guys. And actually, your first card has to deal with our...
I'm still kind of going off that article that we talked about last week and just kind of with the spread, just found more cards that kind of work with it. So Nissa, Steward of Elements, that card's sitting about $253 on TCG.
Crazy it's that cheap.
Yeah, this is a really solid card. I still need to sit down and buy it. Maybe in the future when we're talking about it, I have already bought it. But on Card Kingdom, it's sitting at $5. Now, again, this is one that kind of doubles in price. You got to remember it's Mythic, Planeswalker, fairly solid. And if it made our core cards for Commander list, that means it's a pretty good card. Because we are amazing.
It's made multiple lists.
It has.
Top cards.
It's versatile.
Core cards.
Top cards of top cards. And so, yeah, at a spread of when we're recording this right now of March 20-something.
No. Oh, recording, yes.
Yeah, we're recording it. So things can change in this meantime. But right now it's sitting about $250. I think you can find it for $250 on TCG. I highly suggest at that price.
For sure. Yeah, that's a no doubt with that one. No doubt. I would even almost pick up foils at $9 too. Those aren't bad either.
You don't think so?
I like them.
No,
I'm whispering.
You might think so.
Because I don't know if I want everybody to know I'm going to buy
listening?
it. Why are we listening? I think that's called whispering, Larry.
You can edit that, right?
Oh,
right?
This is me listening. All right, my first card. Okay, by the time this podcast comes out, so all the oaths have already kind of gone. I've had those as my picks because of the Planeswalkers. We're going to be getting close to spoilers for War of the Spark about this time when this comes out. We're probably a week away,
Maybe.
I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably a week away.
So the other ones have already started to jump quite a bit. Not like terribly, but a buck or two. There's two of them, so I'll tell you one right now. Oath of... I had to actually write it down. Chandra. And I just hit my face on the microphone. First, my watch got stuck on the cord, and so then I tried to turn back to get it in my face at the microphone.
You are a mess this entire episode. It's all because it started off with Baby Shark.
It is a terrible... I can't believe that. So anyways, Oath of Chandra.
No.
Is that right?
No.
Chandra,
yeah.
She's sitting about a buck right now. The reason we didn't say to go for these before, because by herself it isn't that great of a card, but I could see if they print some sweet Planeswalkers that it could possibly be used in Modern, maybe.
And at $1 for foil, you have a lot of room to grow, potentially.
Because like her tap 2, you do 3 damage to target creature and opponent controls. So it's kind of like a Incinerate. Isn't that the right one? Isn't that one?
Incinerate does creature or player.
Well, you know what I'm saying, like just to the creature.
Sure.
But then it's every time if we're getting these really low costing Planeswalkers, like if we get down as low as 2, this could be doing a lot more damage. The downfall of all these oaths is they are legendary.
Sure. So if
you
you're
can't
playing
stack
them
it
multiple times. But at the same time, like I think we were going with the stronger ones before. So like white, there's a lot of Planeswalker support on that. That's probably has the most promise. Teferi's bonker, like Teferi's Oath.
Oath of Nissa is ridiculous.
Really good. And then the other ones are kind of the maybes.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't say go deep on these, and it's kind of a stretch with it, but I mean. The other ones have already started making their move, and these haven't, the 2 that I'll be talking about today. For $1, I threw $4 at it. I picked up 4 of them. If they don't go up, then whatever. I have them for my collection. I had non-foils.
And again, this is March 20-something. Should probably actually look up the date since it's the second time I brought it up. It is March 25th.
So by the time this episode comes out, we're looking at the 8th
of April. Oh, that's a lot further away than I thought.
Oh, no. This will be out by the 1st.
The 1st?
First, yeah. So we're probably a week or so out from everything coming out are starting to get spoiled, so we'll see what happens there. So if we start seeing some lower planeswalkers, this might actually lower casting costs planeswalkers. This might have some utility.
We know that Tibolt's in there. And Tibolt's only 2 mana red.
So right there
could be red-black or whatever, but
yeah. So it's not like a go deep on this at all, but we've already gone through all the oaths, and if you haven't picked up those, look at previous episodes, but maybe pick up those.
Maybe.
And yeah, so your next one.
Okay, so another one with the spread idea, a shared animosity. This card is going for $9 on Card Kingdom, and you can find copies on TCG right around $5. So it's probably 40-ish% increase between the two. Shared animosity used to be that expensive too before it was reprinted in that game of Explorers of Ixalan type thing. And so that dropped the price a bit, and it's already starting to recover. And so with price memory in mind, I can easily see the shared animosity going from $5 up to $10. And I think that's a solid pickup.
Non-foils?
Non-foils.
Oh yeah, foils are $25.
Yeah, that's a bit much.
Yeah, I dig it. So my next one I'm going to keep going.
And that does go into a bunch of red, that's great in goblins.
Tribal is awesome with that. My next one is Oath of Liliana. So the two oaths that we weren't a big fan of was the red and the black. But Oath of Liliana could actually be good, especially again if you're playing. And actually I have to go back. The Chandra was actually 50 cents. I was picking them up for 50 cents. So I spent $2 and got 4 of them, foil ones. So anyways, back to Liliana. Liliana, when she comes in, it's kind of nice because it makes everybody sacrifice. Each of your opponents sacrifice a creature.
I like that a lot better than Chandra's dealing 3 damage. Like, that's not that impressive. This,
because we actually play with creatures that do this ability, making people sacrifice, and for the same amount of mana, for 3 mana. Some of those are 3 and 4 that we play with. I actually could start to use this more if it's more of a Planeswalker heavy deck. But then also, it can give you bodies if you've played a Planeswalker, so you can have something that's protecting your Planeswalker. So not only are you making your opponents lose creatures, but you're also gaining if you're playing a Planeswalker with it.
And I think also an important thing is that this does fit into an Atraxa Super Friends like Planeswalker deck. Whereas
Chandra doesn't, because red is the only one that's not in there.
But this one would fit into a Super Friends deck that has black in it.
And I was picking these up. It says on here for $1.50, but I was picking up for $1. So these were the ones I got for $1. Where Chandra I was getting for 50 cents. I don't know. I'm like doing the China.
Yeah, you are. Second time in a row. No politics.
What's
your deal?
Yeah, I don't know. All right, your next one is it? It is your last? No, it isn't.
Yeah, this is my last one. Noxious Gear Hulk. Again, on Card Kingdom, it's sitting around $6, but TCG, the spread is about $3. Now, this is the Gear Hulks are a pretty solid buy. And right now they're decently low. A lot of them haven't really gained traction in anything else. But again, these were really strong in Standard, and they're really quite strong in Commander as well. So this is the black one that destroys a creature and you gain life to like the toughness, I believe. And it has menace and is big. So that spread tells me that Noxious Gear Hulk has a good chance of going up.
And you're focused on the non-foils?
Non-foils, as far as I know. That's kind of what the spread is kind of showing. I didn't dig too much further into this one.
I guess that's the one thing with the spread is like they aren't showing you foils.
Yeah, they're not showing you foils.
But the foils have been kind of all over the place. Right now they're on a clear spike.
Of a couple bucks.
Yeah, for a couple bucks there. And it looks like even that Card Kingdom has them for 12. TCG has them at 7. So yeah, that's still following the same thing that you're saying there. So you could pick them up for $7 on foil ones on TCG. So I almost think you can go both on that.
You could probably go. But again, I think you got to search around a little bit.
Yeah, do some digging. All right, my last one is Into the Wilds. This is similar to my last pick. This one going for foils, $1 again. So I'm going for the cheap foils. I've been doing the high foils lately.
That have potential. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're out of money.
Yeah, I've spent it all. So at the beginning of your upkeep, you look at the top card of your library. If it's a land card, it doesn't matter if it's a forest or whatever. You may put that, or you put that card. No, it's a you may. You may put that card onto the battlefield. So setting your top, or if you have Oracle, Moldiah, or multiple way, being able to play more lands off the top of your library. This is going to help you get through your deck more. And again, foils are $1. It's pretty ridiculous how cheap this is. So I picked up 4 of these again. It isn't something you need to go deep. The theme of my week this week is not necessarily go deep on these cards, but spend like $4 and have them just in case they go crazy. Because it's cards
I can see this one inching its way up. I don't know if it's going to go crazy.
No.
But I can see it being pretty cheap value when it comes to that type of effect. It's not an Azusa or Oracle Moldiah, but if you're not willing to spend that kind of money, this might be an all right budget part of it.
And for a foil, it's pretty damn cheap.
Sure.
So, all right, that should do it for this week, right? We're done with all that stuff.
Done.
Holy moly, that was a lot of recording.
Woo woo! Thank you so much for listening.
We're so happy you're listening.
Adam's a jerk. I don't know why you would laugh at appreciation.
Laugh at appreciation?
Yeah, you just laughed at me appreciating them. That's laughter at appreciation.
You can follow us on Twitter.
At CommanderSmiths.
Nice. YouTube, again, just like, share, subscribe. And this now officially will be the month of April. So we are starting the proxy thing where we'll do a drawing. So
we'll figure out how to do that.
Yeah, stuff and things.
So, drawing, send a proxy if you win.
You can email us.
At CommanderSmiths.
And then you can go to our Patreon page.
At CommanderSmiths.
Is it at CommanderSmiths? / CommanderSmiths, I believe. And $1 helps. $5 gets you proxies. $5 and higher. And then I think it's $10 or more we do international shipping. So
yeah, shipping costs money.
Yeah.
We got to figure it out.
We'll get it all figured. This is we're going to be just getting past our first month of shipments out.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
Oh, there's a lot of recording. All right, that should do it for this week. We will see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.